but I can hear your voice. I know you brought me here, and I will make the choice to believe in our fear.
We are queens with beautiful faces. Courted by our kings, we rule these places. We came from greatness. We are royalty. Ha. You better recognize.
Hey Queens, welcome to Resetting Your Journey. I'm your host, Jasmine Dash, and it's time to accept the past, embrace the present, and change the future. All right, now we're back for another episode of Resetting Your Journey. Today I'm here with my friend, Miss Unstoppable Tenacity, Erica. Hey, Erica.
Hey, Jasmine. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, no problem. So if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners. Let them know who you are, where you're from, what you do, all of that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Erica Stepteau, and also known as the Queen of Tenacity. I actually am a recent author of Unstoppable Tenacity, and just really my focus is as a tenacity coach, an empowerment coach, transformational speaker, is just to really empower women to be unstoppable as they are striving to up-level their lives to impact millions with their message. And I live actually in Cleveland, Ohio, and probably not for long. My husband and I, we are always on the go. We are always on the move, and we've been here almost 2 years now. Back in this is where we're born and raised, and we're actually seeking to live near the beach. So we'll see.
All right.
Very soon.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
Well, that's exciting. So I'm just going to jump right into it because I know that you have an amazing, incredible story to share, and we all want to hear it. So first question, what is the challenge that you faced before God pressed the reset button on your journey? Just share with us, like, you know, the obstacles that you overcame, your testimony, and that moment, you know what I'm saying, that changed everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one of my biggest stories is actually something that I'm still going through. It's not is an ending or that happy ending that we always seek for in our lives, is my journey towards fertility. And I've been on this journey for 14 years now at this moment. And there has definitely been a reset button for myself from a mental standpoint, not necessarily obviously the outcome that my husband and I have desired throughout these years of countless treatments that's cost us thousands and thousands of dollars, and, you know, a lot of the pain and the suffering through it. But, you know, there were some moments here that I had to transform because, you know, we have the expectations of these things that in our head, a story that we tell ourselves that this is the way it's going to be and this is what we desire. But sometimes God don't give you exactly that. And you have to find, you know, in yourself, like, how do you stay happy? Be content? How do you keep moving forward even though you're not getting exactly what you're looking for? And there was a huge moment actually about almost 4 years ago, I would say 4 years ago, where it was a turning point for myself. So that was at almost the 10th year of us trying to conceive and going through all those processes I've said. And I was severely depressed. I mean, just so depressed. It was actually after our third miscarriage, and we had tried at that moment in vitro fertilization. And for those of the listeners that have never heard of that before, it's a process where they take the sperm and they take the egg and they take a dish and they put it together to create an embryo. And I went through that process of 6 weeks of needles and all types of hormone injections and having internal pelvic ultrasounds almost every day. And just, you know, when you get to the end, and I, you know, went through this process, and we had 8 embryos, which were vital embryos, and they basically, you know, dissipated within maybe 2 days afterwards. It's like my whole life just crumbled. And it was just like 10 years, you know, I thinking like, my God, a whole decade of me dedicating my life and my focus around trying to figure out how to become parents. And you feel alone. You feel like you're the only one going through it, because statistics does say that it's 1 out of 8 women in couples actually deal with this. And you do feel like that. You look around and there's no one else. And so in the middle of my depression and suicidal thoughts at that time, and thinking that I was not enough for my husband, I asked him for a divorce actually in that year. I said, you know what, I'm good for me.
Wow.
I'm useless for you, because I can't even give you the one gift that no one else can give you, the one gift. And I had to really take a moment back, and my husband was part of that process, and he took me to a park that day when I was going through my little episode of emotional just breakdown. And he looked me in my eye and he was telling me, he said, honey, I don't care if you can't have a child for me. I don't care about any of the material things in this world. All I care is about you, and I love you, and I need you, and you're my world, and it doesn't matter about these other things. We have each other. We have such a great relationship. We're like, best friends, and we truly are, and we're so close to one another. And that was a moment when all I can do is just say, Lord, okay, how do I get over this now? How do I move forward with this? Because obviously I have the support and I have that, but yet I don't have my dream, right? That dream, this thing that I put in, women, if you're listening to this, it may not be fertility for you, but it could be something that you are just dying to have and desire. And and that's where, I had that turning point, and I had to reframe my whole thinking around this and saying, you know what, I am more than enough. I am a woman of God, and I am an awesome wife and a best friend of my husband, and I mean more than just being a mom. It's more to life than just that. And as I started doing that and reframing for myself, it allowed me to truly embrace me and love me, and not loving me plus a child plus whatever I was looking for, but Erica, down to the root.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so it took a lot of self-love, because when you don't feel like you're enough or not doing or getting to that platform that you're seeking for yourself, you almost weigh yourself down mentally.
Yeah, I can imagine, a lot of people, they encounter depression in different areas of their life through, different trials and tribulations, but I don't know how that feels, you know what I'm saying, to not be able to be a mother, especially when you want to be. And that doesn't mean that it will never happen, but God's timing, His perfect timing is everything and essential. So I feel like in the midst of that, too, that you shared that you were discovering, love for yourself. But I think that it sounded like God was bringing you to a place of wholeness. In completeness, without having to have all these additional things, but just you and Him. And then on top of that, you're, lucky that you have your husband too. So it's just, and he's super supportive. I think that's just incredible. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
So getting into the next thing, after all of this happened and you began to start to discover who Erica was and how to love Erica and take care of Erica first, what happened next? What are your, tell us the steps that happened along the journey and how you got to the place where you are right here and right now with unstoppable tenacity, and you are the unstoppable queen.
Yes, and exactly, and it took, it's an ongoing process. I have to say that too. It never stops. Where how you're evolving and loving yourself on a daily basis. But for sure, there was definitely a transformation process as I gained more confidence, and as I started doing a lot of mirror work. I was doing that on a daily basis, speaking self-love, speaking this high thoughts to myself, where even if I didn't feel it, and it helped me start shedding that same light that I was feeling and receiving from myself to now pour into others. And that's where a lot of my work of my business came into play, because then I started realizing and showing and empowering women that oh my, how many other women are not loving themselves truly and not really finding the value within who they truly are and uncovering that so that they can also pay it forward and help other people impact millions with their message. And because we all have a story. And so as I was going through that, that's when I helped other women identify what are their stories. How can they make impact? How can they transform? Because your story is not meant for just one person. You know, everyone may not relate specifically to your story, but I'm telling you, a woman can find little pieces in your story that they can find and say, oh my God, I do understand what you're saying with that.
Yes.
And that's kind of where Unstoppable Tenacity came into play, my recent book, because as I started uncovering the process of how I transformed through these years of my infertility journey, I also realized that, wow, Erica, you have overcame a lot of what I call DIPs, and it's an acronym that I've created that it includes distractions, interruptions, pitfalls. We all go through
Come
them.
on. Yes.
We all experience them. And that's when I started developing a message to actually speak to all women, a multitude of women, not just fertility issues, because we all do have that. And I started thinking like, oh my, I've had a lot of dips, that acronym in my life to try to get past and skate through with ease and grace. It doesn't hold me back from my highest potential. And that's what Unstoppable Tenacity is all about. It really helps you identify first, what are these dips, interruptions, and pitfalls in your life? And then, therefore, it also helps you master those things. So then, therefore, you can just soar and really just go out there and be who you need to be and be authentic about it and be just charismatic about who you are. Unapologetically, you know what I mean? It's so important for us to live to that level of life so we can get the most out of it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's very true, and I think, well, from my own experiences as well, it takes time for you to put and pour into yourself to discover and realize that I can't be the only one going through these kind of things. There has to be other people.
That's right.
And then when you begin to do that research and you find that there may or may not be other people, if there are, when there are, it's limited. And then for me personally, that's when I feel like God began to reveal my purpose. Like, oh, you didn't go through all of this just to go through all of this for yourself. Like, no, I didn't bring you this far just for you to go through this for yourself. I brought you this far so that you can share your journey with other people as well, because they need to hear it. So that way, like you just said, that they can be empowered and be able to press into other people and share their story as well, and be brave enough and courageous so that they could be open up to receive and give whatever it is that they've given themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
But I just feel like it's so important that that people like move past that blockage of fear and, like you said, become unstoppable and recognize what you call those dips in your life. Recognize those dips and like them not as like to hold you back, but recognize them as opportunities for you to like leverage your life, like, and you can move forward. You can overcome this and become something greater than what you currently are or where you currently are at.
Exactly, because we're all going to go through dips. We're all going to experience that at some stage or another. It's just, you cannot avoid it. It's about mastering it. That's the biggest part of the dip theory that I've created, because some people may take it up front saying, well, you're maybe being pessimistic or negative, but it's not being negative. It's about being, strategic. It's about saying, okay, if I'm going to expand myself and continuously evolve and grow in my journey, there's going to be some stretching moments that won't be that comfortable. And therefore, that's when the distractions, interruptions, and the pitfalls is going to start filling those little pockets, because now you are stretching beyond something that you're comfortable doing or saying or experiencing. and that's really how it helps a woman, specifically a woman. It can help anyone, male or female, but obviously I have a movement for empowering women specifically.
Right. No, I understand completely. And I just absolutely love that, the dips.
Thank you. Yes.
It's really clever. But it's true, too, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, well, so we'll just move along.
Okay.
And,
yeah, no problem.
Yeah, do you have a favorite scripture that you'd like to share with us?
I do, actually, and I actually have it on a dumbbell as a chain that I do wear a lot, and it's Philippians 4:13. I do all things through Christ who gives me strength, and you know, it really reminds me of the moments when I didn't feel like I could do it all or I wasn't enough. And so there's always the validation. Every time I feel like I'm not being enough or doing enough, it's like, well, Christ has my back, and he is everything that I need. He is my ultimate resource for what I need to do. And so that's where it always comes into play as a reminder for me on a daily basis.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Mm-hmm. So you said earlier that you like to say things to yourself to encourage and uplift yourself. What is it that you do on a daily basis that you can do for the rest of your life to let your light shine?
Absolutely. And, you know, one thing I also do is I would say it's like a visionary / gratitude list. And the reason why it's a mixture of both is because I do write down the things that I'm grateful for every single day. But at the same time, I also write down things that I'm thankful for that hasn't even happened yet. So it's almost like a, you know, I'm proclaiming that this is already here, but it is not yet, but I'm already thanking God for it. But, you know,
right.
And I've done that a lot, and I have looked back on my journal, and a lot of things have come into play. It's like some of those things that I did was putting me in that like vibrational vortex of attracting it to manifest more in my life, because I'm already in full gratitude for it before it's even physically here in my present moment. And it's been really awesome because it puts me in a very high level of just happiness. And then it allows me to shine that to other people, because I'm not sitting here thinking about what I don't have, or, you know, I'm thinking about what I have and also what I have coming my way at the same time.
Yeah. Can you give us like an example of that? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, one of the things that I wrote before I even got my book fully launched is I wrote down that I'm going to be the next best-selling author, and I'll be speaking around the world sharing the movement of unstoppable tenacity. And, you know, and that was prior to even it launching. And I am a #1 best-selling author of my book, and I am starting to get a lot of speaking opportunities within the last couple of weeks. All these bookings that's at least, I mean, they're not over the world yet, but they're nationwide. And so I feel like it's just starting to evolve and get into that. And I know eventually it will be out of the country one day.
That's
so
amazing.
It's just, you know, just writing it down in the present moment, even though it's not present, it's just writing it down as if it is. And it has so much power to it, because no one can take that dream away from you. And it's like you're saying, God, I know I am worthy of this. Lord, I know this is my birthright to be in an abundant state in my life. And you know, and it just kind of puts you in that mode and that mood of that. And so I think it just tells God, like, you are a woman of business. You know you are in deserving of that because it's your birthright. And so it just kind of puts it all in alignment for you in your life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I think it's super cool. So I follow this lady, I don't know if you know her, Chanel Cooper Sykes, and she she talks about like miracle manifestations, and she has these things called manifestation and belief statements. So I like write that alongside with my affirmations, but it's just more of along the lines like I believe I will have, or I will do kind of thing, putting it out there into existence. But I love like your twist on it, because it's like to be grateful for it before it's even like here. So it's like you believe, like, but you're like grateful for it, like you have it already. Yeah. And I like that spin on it much better. That's very cool. Very, very cool.
Thank you. And it's because the emotion, everything comes from emotion. Anything we do or experience or counter, it always, you know, starts with the emotional state. And I really believe that, you know, that's to me the next level of manifestation is tapping into the actual emotion of it, not just saying it will happen and saying, okay, it's almost like I hope it will. It's like when I say I am thankful for it, it has happened. It's like I've already put myself in that position of putting the highest emotions attached to the actual outcome of it. And that's what steers it to me to happen even more.
That's phenomenal. I love that. I'm going to be taking that tip.
Yes, definitely do it. Yes, you'll see the transformation of that just alone. You'll see. You'll feel it.
I bet. Yes. Keep you posted.
Yes.
So I do have a question that you probably weren't forewarned about.
Okay.
It just came to me. Is there something that stands out the most to you that you wrote in your book that if someone were to read it and they don't get anything else out of the book, what is it that you want them to get?
Oh, man, that's a good one. And I was just having this conversation, so God was already preparing that.
Wow.
So, yeah, even without you preparing it.
Right.
But the thing is, yes, it will be one of the highlight chapters. And it's actually, so my book is 42 bite-sized chapters for women on the go. I definitely kept my women in mind. And so out of those 42, one of them is just so unique and powerful, and it's chapter 4, actually, and it's called Permission to Feel. And the reason why it's so significant, because we, as women, we fail to do this at times. And we fail to do it because we feel like we have to be Wonder Women of everything we are doing, mothers, spouses, entrepreneurs, workers. We put a lot on our shoulders, and not to get into race, but as even Black women, we put even more pressure on us because we feel like we're just against the wall with certain components and businesses, or the financial flow, or our background of our money story from our childhood, and so it's just all these pressures. And this chapter really allows a woman to explore and really pinpoint how is she blocking the opportunity for her to feel, even when she's angry, when she's depressed, when she feels sad, when she's frustrated, when she's happy, like giving and honoring that moment, because we feel like when we allow ourselves to feel those bad feelings that we're like bringing it into our lives or something, like it's a bad thing, like I can't feel sad, or I can't be mad, or I can't, but what if allowing yourself to, feel for that moment is really the actual breakthrough to get you to the next level? What if? And the reason why I brought this up, because obviously this goes right back to my journey towards fertility. For 10 years, I held it a secret. Jasmine, that we were trying to have kids, because I was so embarrassed. I didn't give myself that permission to allow people, friends, family members, to know the deepest, darkest secrets and wounds of being an infertile woman. And trying every single month, being disappointed with all types of pregnancy tests. I can't even tell you how many pregnancy tests I've taken in 14 years, It gets dark and lonely, and I didn't allow myself to just feel. I didn't allow myself to be sad at moments. I was trying to cover it up. I was at someone's baby shower, like I'm happy for them, and I was, but then deep down I was very depressed and sad about my own situation, you know? And I would cover it up. I would say, I'm good. I'll cover it up with another degree. I'll cover it up with another, purse, or I'll cover it up with some makeup, or I'll cover it up with, another accolade in my life of achievement. But yet all I needed to do was just give myself that permission at that moment to just sit there in the middle of a baby shower and cry if I needed to. But I didn't.
Right.
And it builds up. As women, it builds up on us when we don't give ourselves that permission to do that, because then it comes out in other angles in our life, and it blocks us from our capacity to receive our blessings. It blocks all the blessings because now we're too busy being angry, bitter, frustrated, or burnt out because we didn't give ourselves permission to feel.
Yeah. And like you said, that definitely makes room for so many other things, or, thank God, like, that it didn't turn into something like worse for you, that you actually learn how to channel that energy in the right direction. But imagine so many people who don't get out of that. It just gets deeper and darker. You know what I'm saying? And that's the scary part. That's the scary part. So, wow. Wow.
And
That's
it's not
real.
to stay there. And I want to make it clear that it's not about, giving yourself the permission to feel and then waddle in your mess and have a pity party. That's not the object of it. It's giving yourself that moment, where, okay, I need to feel this. I need to cry it out. I need to scream it out. I need to yell it out.
Here,
whatever
right now. Yeah.
Right now. And then let's keep it moving, boo-boo. Let's keep it going.
Exactly.
Okay, wipe the tears, get your cape back on, get back to Wonder Woman composure, and you'll feel so much better if you allow yourself to do that, though.
Right. But, too, that kind of goes into this. I think that people are afraid to do that because they don't feel like love and support from people around them. They feel instant judgment or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or that it's going to, like people are going to hurt them if they were to share the deep, dark parts of them. But if we realize, or if we, not only say realize, if we surround ourselves with the right kind of people where it's a loving and caring environment and supportive, then we enable ourselves to be able to be open and to share those things without feeling any judgment or any of those negative things that makes us want to, keep it all on the inside.
That's right. That's right. Support is everything. It really is. And when you feel that you need to reach out, then you have to reach out. You have to have someone in your corner to allow you to just let things out of your system. I mean, of course, you can always pray to God, but it doesn't hurt to have, someone in the flesh to talk things out with. And a non-judgment zone, like you were saying, Jasmine, like non-judgment. That's so important to have people like that in your corner. And even if it's one person,
that's more than no one.
Lady, or that one male, whoever it is, to just be in your corner to allow you to really just feel what you need to feel at those times.
Exactly. Wow, that's that one chapter, all of that came out.
yes, one chapter, and it's a bite-sized chapter too, but it will give you the push and the nudge, and it helps you explore, because every chapter in my book, it actually ends with I call it time to slay. And so it gives you a moment to, ponder on the questions or journal the questions, the answers to the questions that I have. So, yes, it really allows you to explore that from even a deeper level than just reading it.
It's transformative.
That's right.
All right, I know that. That's awesome. So let's go and dive back into the questions. I know we drifted a little bit.
Absolutely.
So if you could name 3 things that you would tell your younger self.
Oh, yeah. Number one, the biggest thing is to just, you don't have to go so fast, Erica. I always think about that song, slow down, baby, you're moving too fast. That song, it makes me think about, sometimes we do, when we're on a tenacious journey. I always call my ladies tenacious queens, and we are striving to do and be awesomeness to our tribe or for ourselves or, whoever it is, right? And so we find ourselves just doing a lot all the time. And it's so important to just pause that moment. So, I wish, I would tell my younger self one thing, slow it down. You don't have to go so fast. Number 2 would be really pay attention to your surroundings, like don't allow everyone to feed into you. There's a free coach, seminar here, is a free coach thing here, is a free link here, and all these freebies and all these things around you to absorb. But it's like everything that's free is not the best. And I would say, just kind of like you don't have to take everything that you see that's shiny and gold and flashy. You don't have to do that. And then number 3 would be just kind of just making sure that self-care is always number 1. There was for years that self-care wasn't even at the top of my list. It was, all I did was just think about, going out to eat and being social, drinking and doing all these things, but not finding ways to just take care of my body and such. And that, as I'm older and, not that I'm older, but, older, it's, my body is very important, and I have to make sure I take care of it from a nutritional, from a movement standpoint, and a mental standpoint, so that I have the stamina everything energy that I need to impact millions with my message. And if I'm going to be speaking in front of people and on podcasts and coaching every day, I need to make sure I have what I need from those three components, mind and body and soul, refreshing and recharges every day.
Right. I love that. That's great. So, I am a queen, and I love me some
yes.
me.
Yes.
And you told us that you are the unstoppable queen.
Yes.
So why is it that you love you some you? What makes you so extraordinary?
The biggest thing that I see in myself for sure, and I hear from everyone else, people will confirm that your gift too. You will hear it a lot from others, is that, I keep going regardless. Like, it's just, it could be those dips, like I was explaining, distractions, interruptions, pitfalls. I had a ton of them, and I only put 42 of them in my book. But I have more than those 42 that I shared in the book. And I just keep going. Like, you could throw huge financial curves at me. I've done bankruptcy. I have had suicidal thoughts. I've been through family drama up, left, and right. Obviously, my infertility journey has been a horrible deal that I've been through and still going through, right? That hasn't changed, But it's just like something in me. I have all this ambition that just finds the light in it, and it finds the silver lining, and it just says, you know what, I'm going to go with that. And there's something about me that, and I mean, this is from childhood. Like, my mom would say that I would just push past stuff. Like, I have a funny story, actually. I was about, maybe it's in my book too, but I was about 9 years old. And my friend of the family, he came over, and he actually just didn't like me. He would call me Egg, not even Erica. He'll call me Egg. And he had this thing about me that he didn't like me, and God rest his soul, he has passed away. But the thing is that him and I would go back and forth about things. And so one time he brought over, and he also said I had too much of a mouth. I always questioned everything, but see, that's because that was my gift, right? Now I have a gift for gab to share with and impact others. So,
right.
But the thing is that one time he brought ice cream over just for my sister. She's 6 years younger than me, so she was really young at that time.
Okay.
And the thing is, he was like, well, I'm not going to get you ice cream. And I'm like, why not? And I'm like, oh, that's okay. I don't even want your ice cream. So I end up just, like, disappearing. No one don't even know where I went for, like, my mom said maybe about 30 minutes or so. And I came back with ice cream. I came back with my own ice cream. Like, I don't even know what I did. God forbid, I hope I didn't steal it from a store. I don't know what. I honestly cannot remember what I did. I tried. I said, Lord, show me what I did. He's probably not showing me because I probably didn't do something right. But the thing is that, the moral of the story is that I was unstoppable. You could not tell me and told me at that moment that I couldn't partake in ice cream. I said, oh, right. Really? You don't think I
get my own ice cream?
I go get my own ice cream. And to this day, I am still the same way. You cannot tell me no. You cannot tell me, oh, well, you don't deserve that. I'm like, oh, really? And so that's why it was really hard for me to fully accept, not getting a baby. Because in my world, I've always said, oh, when someone tells me no, I'm going to get it anyways. And so that's been a learning curve for me. That's like swallowing my pride, okay, well, you didn't get that baby, though, yet, right? But you got everything else you said you're going to get, and but the thing is that I still keep pressing. I don't give up. I don't give up. Even though I still haven't gotten the tangible of what I truly want, I find somewhere in there to say there's a reason to keep going. And that's a huge message that I teach and really share with others every single day.
Yeah. It's going to come when you least expect it. So that's to be continued.
Right. That's right.
But I absolutely love that about you. I do.
Yeah,
you just keep going. You. Yeah, like in spite of anything, just keep pushing. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We all need a little bit of that in our lives. We do. And
no, seriously. Like in real life. Like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we all know that you have a book. Unstoppable Tenacity online now. You can buy it at Amazon.com.
Yes.
And wherever else.
That's right.
So name another good book or resource or tool that you recommend for our listeners.
Well, I love my Lisa Nichols. I love her so dearly. She is such an awesome mentor for me, and she has several books I love. But the one that I felt like that just always just speaks to me is No Matter What, her book, and it really ignites me, and it always reminds me of me being my, the tenacious queen I am. It just constantly reminds me that other people out there are speaking that message as well, that no matter what, whatever you're going through, keep a smile on your face, stay optimistic, push past those barriers and those dips that we've been talking about during this podcast. And, she is also a woman that I just look up really because she has overcame a lot of things in her own personal life as well that she shares in that book, and obstacles and journeys and frustrations and confusions. And so that is such an awesome book to read as well, for sure.
Awesome. You know what? I have not read that book, but it's really been on my radar for like the past few months. Like, just like in the background, like I keep on thinking about No Matter What, and I'm like, oh, that's Lisa's book. Like, but it's like so old. Well, not so old, but it's older, like one of her older books. So it's just kind of like I don't want to. Yeah, like I don't think that. Oh yeah, I want to go read it, but I think I will read it now.
And it's on Audible.
Check it out.
Just listen. You can listen to it if you don't have the time to physically read
definitely.
it. Yeah,
I'm still in the midst of. Definitely, I'm still in the midst of reading Abundance now, actually, as we speak. So I plan on finishing that this week. So I guess I have to put that on the list for sometime soon.
That's right.
So thank you. Yes. Thank you so much for that. So for everybody listening, and you guys have listened to previous episodes, you all know about the famous 10 seconds of motivation. So, Erica, I'm going to give you 10 seconds on the clock.
Yes.
I got to find a way to be able to show you how to show this on my thing. That would be the dopest thing. But I have it on my phone, so you just got to trust me, okay?
Yes, that's right.
Just trust me. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds, and I just need you to blurt out 10 seconds of motivation, inspiration, empowerment, whatever it is that you have, like just immediately at the tip of your tongue. And I'm going to give you 3-second countdown and then tell you to go, all right?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Tenacious Queens,
go.
The 10 seconds I have for you is to just focus on what you want in your life and give it your all. And no matter what, you have to be the unstoppable queen that God has honestly ordained you to be to obtain your birthright of abundance. And the only way you can do that is pushing past your dips. That's distractions, interruptions, and pitfalls.
All right. That was a little over, but that's awesome. I think it was necessary. Yes. Well, Erica, it has been such a pleasure to have you on Resetting Your Journey, and you sharing your story with us. I thank you so much and really appreciate it so much that you're open and just expose that part that a lot of people don't want to talk about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
No problem. Of course. And before we conclude, I just want you to be able to share your contact information. How can they reach you?
Absolutely. You can reach me on Facebook. I'm always on there. That's you can actually, my business page is Unstoppable Tenacity. You can also find me on my personal page too. I have nothing to hide, so you can join me on there as well. I do Tenacity Talk Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's via Facebook Live. So definitely tune in to those. And then, of course, you can find me on my website, unstoppabletenacity.com.
All right. And you're Tenacious Tuesdays, that's what it is, right?
Yeah,
Tenacious Tuesdays. That is under your personal page or under your business page?
Oh, yeah, great question. That's actually under my personal page.
Okay, so you guys make sure you add her on Facebook so that way you can be able to do Tenacious Tuesdays.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you, Erica. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
Thank you for listening, Queens. Were you encouraged by today's episode? Are you ready to live? Is it time to press reset on your life?
If so, visit aplaceforqueens.net
to find out more about our guests and resources mentioned on the show. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. And remember, you are not alone. On that note, let's end with the jam session.
Before me, behind me, everywhere you're with me. I know I'm never alone. So wherever you lead me, God, that's where I'm gonna be. If you say go, I'm not gonna wait. If you say move, I won't hesitate. Wherever it is that you're taking me to, I'm gonna trust in you. If you say go, if you say go,
Know that I am royalty. I am royalty. Take one look at me, you see royalty. I am royalty. This is royalty. Take one look at me. I am royal.
radiant, you're honest and you're beautiful girl. Margarine, coming gifts and wings. Lord, I'm with you. There's nothing I can't do. Brave, you make me brave.
1,000 second chances. And when I get to $9.99, I get to press reset.
I love,
I love you, Queens.